Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the DJ Life Podcast.
We got Jason Jani with us.
As
What,
always,
what?
we got Erik over here. Erik Massengale, the man with glasses, or dude with glasses.
Yeah, the
dude with glasses.
Dude with the glasses that no one knows. And then the infamous Rick Webb, the YouTube star.
Absolutely.
Boy genius. Also, like you were just saying, Jason, the Christmas light Santa Claus of North Carolina now.
It's
I
like
love it.
it's
I love it.
awesome business.
It's
I mean,
cool. Like I was saying to
it's
him,
so
I was
cool.
like, I'm jealous. I wish I had something that wasn't in the DJ industry in any capacity that was like a side project, you know? Like even my automation shit is like, it's the DJ industry still, you know?
Yeah.
But
It's so weird being in a completely different realm too. Like it's like home service related, like, and it doesn't matter in terms of age. Like you're mostly just targeting for like the people that have the houses you want to do. It's like weird. And like it's reoccurring business too. So it's like a completely, like we're normally dealing like with one-off, getting referrals from friends and stuff. And this we're doing them every single year. It's weird.
and it's
So
Christmas.
the cool thing about that is you get it twice because you get it on the setup, but you also get it on the breakdown as well, right? Like so you have like the build and also the strike.
Yeah, exactly. And you build it out and then you wait like a month and a half and then you strike it all down and it's crazy.
The thing he was saying, and it never crossed my mind. So let's say he's like, oh, you know, I'll set up your lights this Friday. Well, he's like, oh, well, due to demand, we can't do it till the following Friday. It's not like a DJ setup. You know what I mean? It's like you got to be here at 4:30 or 4 o'clock. Period.
You just give them a window. You're like, yeah, we'll be there anywhere from 1 to 3 to put your lights up, and then like we
For
can
a
show
week.
up at 3, and they're like, they're still happy as fuck. I mean, it doesn't.
Yeah, because they don't turn them on until Christmas or
Yeah,
whatever. So it
Thanksgiving,
doesn't really matter. Thanksgiving, yeah.
Anyway,
We quoted that for my house. That the dude came here with like an iPad, took a picture of the house, was like, oh, we can put lights up over here on this peak. We got a crane. We can do this and this. And I'm like,
A crane.
that's a little. See, I just do all mine from Google Map images and shit and realtor pictures, and like you can measure on Google Maps like all the distances, and you just call them up like, yo, so you want roof lines, all that? Okay, yeah, it's going to be XYZ for this and this and this, and they're like, all right, cool, and just send them over an itemized quote. Done.
Yeah.
you need to automate that process, Eric. Set him up with a little formula.
Yeah,
Little inquiry.
I've been giving him suggestions. He's been doing it himself. Rick
I got it. I got it. It's not implemented yet, but it's going to be, the follow-up system's all going to be in Keep, so it's going to be completely automated.
Yeah.
And we'll automate all that and all that shit. But anyways, our guest tonight,
yes.
Jason Jani.
Yeah, man.
If you don't know Jason, I don't know what you're doing
I don't either.
on this
I don't either.
podcast at all. Honestly, Jason,
You need to
is,
stop, go to his YouTube channel, and learn, and then come back.
Yeah, between Jason, Joe Bunn, if you were to call someone famous in our industry, it would be them. I feel like Jason even takes the cake on that one. So, Jason,
Ooh.
I mean, it is what it
Hopefully
is.
Joe's not listening.
Yeah, you know he's not. So
Oh,
it's
I know he's
fine.
not. He's like, I'm never up to date on what any of you guys are doing.
So we'll start with some background shit. So, what got you into DJing to begin with?
You know, I've spoke about this a couple of times, but I'll be really brief with it. You know, like I was when I was in high school, I was a wrestler, and I lived a pretty guided life, a very like scheduled life. And when I turned 18 and I was done with my senior season, I went out to a teen club with a bunch of my friends who were all like into the party scene and all that. And I was mesmerized by walking into a place and watching a DJ literally control a room of like 1,500 people. And there was girls there and it was like crazy. And I was just like in awe. So I quickly became infatuated with the thought of like using music to control the emotional state of this like insane room. That was a giant party, and that was honestly the thing that happened that kind of opened my mind up, and then it kind of stayed open for a little while, and then we started to frequent some you know, like 18 to enter club spots. And you know what? Like I just quickly got obsessed. I became obsessed with it, and it became like an obsession for me to learn how to become a DJ. And then I made a bunch of friends with different people at different places. I knew a lot of people, and you know, people just started to kind of, I guess, help me out a little bit. And before long, I had my own set of tables. I had I had a Vestex mixer, and I was like trying to blend records together, and it never it never got past that. The private event industry game actually came to me long after I played in like the club and the bar and kind of the nightlife scene.
Yeah.
When I was trying to get involved and I was going to college, I started to work for a mobile company, and I went through like this training program, and I was just like, this is not for me. Like, I'm not all about doing like that's more into the conga and to like pack
Yeah.
the dance
You're
floor.
from New
And
Jersey, like from
yeah,
the beginning, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, like it just I fell out of love with it very quickly. And I was a good DJ. I was able to blend songs and play. And the guy who had given me like a mobile job, I worked for probably like 6 months, and I was just trying to figure it out. And I'm like, I don't click with it. It doesn't connect with me. I'm not having fun doing it. And like at the same time, I was playing in other places where I was like, I actually enjoyed myself. The money wasn't as good, but it wasn't bad. You know what I mean? And I came away from the private event space entirely for quite some time until I was working in Hoboken, and a bunch of girls that would always follow me around ended up coming in one day, and she's like, "Hey, I'd like to hire you for my company party." And I'm like, "Yo, if you want me to do like the Macarena with your boss, I'm not your guy." And she's like, "No, I want you to do what you do here, but there, and I can pay you this." And it was like 20 times what I was making that
Right.
night.
Yeah.
It was like
Yeah.
it was like
Unreal.
stupid, and I
Yeah.
was like, "Yeah, I can do
Yeah,
that."
I'll
You
be
know
there.
what I mean? And it just it honestly it kind of happened by accident. It wasn't like I feel like a lot of people, kind of like plan to do this, or they enter in the business like thinking like, oh, I want to have a company one day, I want to do private events, I want to do sweet 16s, I want to do this stuff. Like for me, it was like, yeah, I didn't really have that path. I came into it later because I felt like there was a void in the industry, especially in my area, for like what my friends really were expecting when they were hiring DJs for their weddings and for their parties, and what was being delivered in terms of service.
Yeah.
And I felt like there was just a missing link. And I felt like after doing this for a little while and having like a good sense and a good handle of like how to crush a party and how to play for people, and just knowing what my friends were looking for and not getting, like I saw an opportunity, and that is really like how I started the foundation of what now is SCE. And it was kind of like everyone told me it was going to be like the worst thing I ever did, and this would be a mistake, and I'd never be successful. No one would ever want that. No one ever, like, you had to do the things that I was not interested in doing.
Right.
And I was like, I don't know.
Well,
And
now
I
everyone
told,
wants what you have.
it,
Yeah.
it's
Now
just, it's
everyone's.
just, it's very
Exactly.
different.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
bought I was doing an event for a celebrity client of mine, David Totera, who's like a celebrity event designer.
I've heard of
And
him. Yeah.
it was like shooting for like, WeTV, and we were doing this whole thing. And I'm like, I kept on getting crushed by people like, yo, how do I heard about you. How can I come to one of your events? I'm like, you can't unless you like see me play at wherever. And they're like, oh, I heard about you for like my wedding. I want to hire you for my wedding. And I was like, yeah, I can't do that. So like literally, this is going back to like 2008. So like time reference here. And I remember I went to like Best Buy, and I spent $650 on like on a camcorder, because I thought of what a better way for me to like show people what I do is to just like record a party and then just to have all this footage. And at that point, YouTube was like starting to happen, and like
Yeah.
like there was all these platforms that were like, it was like the beginning of the creator economy, I guess, really. And I was like, if I record my parties and I share it, like then I could just have people go to this link and they could like watch my videos, and then like they could see what I do, or they could see what it was like. And honestly, that's like, those are like the steps. I did a video today about it, and I put it up on my YouTube channel, but that's like really the beginning of how I got into this whole business. Cause
Yeah.
like, like everyone was kind of not about things when I started the way I was doing them at that time. And I was like, how do I do big production? And how do I, bring in track spots and moving heads when they came out? And how do I have like a proper system, not like two eons on sticks? Like, how do I do this? Like, like, and make it like a legit club in a private event setting,
Yeah. Yeah.
and the rest is kind of history, I guess.
Yeah. Sick. Hell yeah. What do you think Because, like, fast forward 2008, so 14 years later, now you
Man, I'm a
have
dinosaur over here. No,
but so now you have your staff. I don't even know if you'd call it that, but the SEE dudes, because it's different. It doesn't work. Like my multi-op. We're very cookie cutter. We're very you could assume how we operate. SEE is just not like that. You know what I mean? Like I would say your DJs for the most part are superstars. I mean, I don't know what the word for it is, but they're unique. Each one of them, they're their own business. They're like your Nick Spinelli and Jeff. They're their own thing.
Yep.
Even though
Yep.
they're for SCE. I wonder. How do you think that you made that happen with SCE as a multi-op? Because you're still a multi-op, but
It's very simple though. I know where you're going. It's like
You know what I
it's a
mean? Yeah.
multi-op mentality. It's actually not. I hate the word multi-op.
I feel you.
and I know it's like
I knew
like,
you
I
were
know
gonna
people-
say that without even right. Exactly.
like think of like the context of our industry. Usually you have an owner that controls a group of people and they try to make like exact replicas of themselves. They try to do like carbon copies of themselves. And like somewhere along the training game of telephone, like it starts to drop off. Like there's only been a handful of people that can really, really do it well. Mike Walter, Joe Bunn, and I bet you that they would even say that there are times where the training
drop the
doesn't
ball,
go as
right.
planned, right? Like things just
Exactly.
don't line up a certain way. So for me, I've always wanted to push the creative bar in different directions. And what I realized when I was building what is now SCE, that there was people that were really, really strong at certain things and they lacked other things. So it was like, okay, how do I take, rather than have like a consistent product that's kind of like always doing the same shit over and over and over again, like how do I take people and basically have their strengths, and how do I use their strengths as an opportunity as opposed to like trying to get them to relearn the Jason Jani way of doing things? Like we have a lot of overlapping styles, but like I try to represent SCE functions more like a talent agency that has the protection and the processes of a multi-op, but like we don't control the creative process because like let's just say like I'm not like I can be an interactive guy. I can, do a lot of hosting, but like I'm not someone that's gonna get out and do like the cha-cha slide with people. Like I don't even know how the fuck it goes, right? So like,
Bro, I would
but I
love
have
to do
someone
that.
on my team that would be like really good at that stuff. They're like really good at trivia. They're really good at like the interactive games. So like people want that, and there is a universe of people for that. So like let me take this talent option that embraces the same like ideas and goals that I do for the business, and how do I make them shine? How do I give them the opportunity to have their own entity, their own brand underneath the protection of this company that I've created? And it's just played well. It allows people to thrive, not just survive. And
Right.
that's like probably the biggest difference, right? Like look at someone like Nick, look at someone like Jeff. Like they have been given an opportunity to have access to leads and to be able to share in the marketing experience and to be part of like these crazy events that if you were a single op, it would be like challenging to hit or to get access to, because like some of the bigger things, right? They want like the status of a company, even though they want like the agility of like a talent performer.
Right.
I guess
Well,
that's
something
probably the way
about
to
a
say it.
company
So-
is also comforting to someone. That they're coming with a team almost, even if the team's not literally present.
Right. So
they
like
know-
we have 12 performers, but we have like a staff of like 80 people that work at SCE in total with contractors and employees. And it's a
Right.
mixed bag depending on like what the arrangement is that I have with them. Some people are this, some people are that. And like, I don't want to constrict, like I let our talent option, as opposed to like most mobiles where they're like, okay, I'm going to give you this many jobs a year. Like for me, like one of the first things I do every time I sit with someone that's coming on board to like our team is I'll sit with them and be like, yo, all right, Eric, all right, Rick, you guys are going to roll with us. Cool. Like, where are you good? Let me see some stuff. Like, all right, we'll figure out how we're going to like basically market you. And then, okay, what is your goal? Like, where do you want to be? Do you want to do like 30 events a year? Do you want to do like 200 events a year? Because there's a path to achieve that in different ways. And just given like I've done this for a little while, I understand the mechanics of how to market someone differently and how to basically open up the floodgates or control the floodgates, whether it be with pricing, whether it be with, placement, whether it be with ads, whether it be with just the influx of things coming in and out of the website. Like it's a complicated formula, but it's something that over time, I think any owner of any business is going to understand like the framework for how things are coming into their business.
Do you think the invention and takeoff of TikTok helped you guys basically increase your pricing? Because I noticed your price increase. I don't know exactly when it happened, but sometime in the last 2 years, post COVID, I saw and I love it, by the way, your regional destination and I can't remember the third, but you know what I mean.
Local regional
destination. Do you think that?
Yep.
Do you think that had anything to do with TikTok?
I think it had to do
For
with
real?
TikTok.
I mean, for some people.
For some people, right?
Yeah.
Like for myself personally, like I've always had this ability to be sought out for some of these larger events. Like I played the Super Bowl. I often, before COVID was even a thing, like I would travel and do these like really, really large profile events that are just like
my fiance has seen you on her Bravo show or whatever, and I was like, oh, that's Jason. I'm working on his whatever. You know what I mean? I'm like, that's crazy. What the fuck?
That's
Melissa,
just
is that her name?
and hard work. Melissa Gorga, who's like a really good friend of mine and supporter of SCE for a long time. But like TikTok has allowed someone like Nick to really, really not just showcase what he's capable of doing, but it's changed the landscape for him and even for us at SCE in ways that I never even saw coming. Right. I mean, like he went viral when I was traveling to Aruba with Lauren, going on a little bit of a birthday getaway earlier this year. And I remember I was like in the airport and he's like bringing my phone. He's like, bro, I think I just went viral. And I'm like, huh? Like, what are you talking about? He's like, I put this video up. It was kind of like a mistake, but I let it go. And like, it's got 1 million views on it. And I'm like, no shit. I'm like, that's awesome, bro. Send me the link. And I like looked at it. I'm like, oh, it's pretty cool. Like, okay, cool. Then like 8 hours later, I'm on the beach in Aruba. My phone's ringing. He's got like 5 million hits on that same video. Like, I mean, it just was like placement, luck, like, and then Nick has taken that as an opportunity and really, really doubled down. And I tell you what, like, I've always been humbled by Nick's work ethic, and that's something that he's from day one coming in and meeting with me to come on board at SCE. Like he really had something to just kind of prove. Like he just wanted to be part of something that created some opportunities for him. And you know what, like he deserves everything that he's gotten in terms of like opportunities, because what you maybe have seen is only a small fraction of the work that he's put into bettering himself and putting himself out there to create opportunities. And now, like, I can tell you, like, we raised his pricing considerably, and he's in no, he doesn't have to worry about like booking events. I mean, like today, I think I got a lead from Luxembourg that wants him. Like, I mean, like he's well on his way and has really changed the path of where he's at in this business and where he's going in this business, just because of his consistent hustle on TikTok. So TikTok has influenced everyone, but out of our whole team, Nick's the one that's really done well. Demand's done well with it, with certain videos, but there's a lot of our guys, they're not even sharing content on the platform, which is kind of crazy to me. You know?
Well, you guys are, you're, like I said, I'll use the term superstars, but you're your own entities. You're trying to put out your styles and whatnot. Content is king, especially for y'all. See, like with us, and I'll say we're the cookie cutter. We're the trying to be the same across the board. Content is almost a bad thing, because if I have a bride watch DJ Joe Schmo, it doesn't matter, and he does something super unique, she's like, I want that at my wedding. I don't know if Joe Schmo number 2, other guy, is gonna be that same type of shit. And I don't want to sell something that we're not, you know? So
I think that's a great thing that a lot of people struggle with when they're building their company. And I think like one of the things that like I tried to do is reverse engineer the algorithm. So like, how could I put these people in a position to be available in 2 years from them meeting with someone? How do I put them in a position where they're going to be financially secure enough to be in a position to be available, 2 years out? And like when you're just booking, generic jobs or whatever,
It's
and
different.
you don't have
Totally
the
different.
financials there, it's a different formula, right?
It
Like
is.
there's
Well,
a different
you
path,
know, if
right?
Joe Schmo gets sick, well, Joe Schmo too can take his place in a day. Who cares? You know, the couple's like, oh, I didn't even realize the other guy was not here. That's fine.
Yeah.
You know, that's
It's
you.
true.
With you, Nick Spinelli gets sick. A couple's gonna be like, what the fuck? You know, like I need Nick
Yeah.
Spinelli here. You can't just send anyone. You know, even you, they'd be like, I wanted Nick. You know, it doesn't matter that
Yes.
you're dope also. But you get my point. Yeah.
100%. And I think that's like it's a positive and a negative, right?
There's pros and cons,
exposure,
100%.
right? Right.
Yeah. Well, you
There's
guys are
things you have to worry
starting
about.
it way higher of a price than us. It's a totally different. Like I said, I thoroughly stay in my lane. There is no, someone hits us up and they're like, oh, we want you to do X, Y, Z and have all this crazy shit. I'm like, you need to go to Jason Jani. You're asking the wrong company. Like we're the cookie cutters. We'll do your wedding. We'll do a good job, but we'll do it for the low. But you can't meet your DJ or even know his name until 3 weeks prior. And we might switch it after that. You know what I mean? That just is what it is. Same here, like obviously, I guess now I'm up in New Jersey. I would say Jason, but like here, I would suggest Rick Webb,
Yeah, Rick and I are doing an event together next year. I was able to reach out to Rick, and he's going to
Yeah,
support me on a project out that way, which I'm excited about.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun time.
What is that?
We're just doing the production for him. He's going to be in Charlotte DJing.
Oh,
He's got a wedding.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's a wedding. I was gonna ask more details, but I probably don't know shit.
It's a wedding with a lot of crazy stuff. That's all you need to know.
Yep. Well, hell yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Be fun.
it's gonna be a fun time.
Well, that's like I said, like you said, I know you hate the term multi-op, but it's different. It's just
It's
that's
more
the
like,
only
it's
word.
more like a
it's
record
the only
label is
word
like the
for
best way
it.
to,
Yeah, it's a booking agency.
It's like a
almost.
record label of high quality talent.
Do all your DJs have their own insurance?
It depends on the arrangement. So if
Do you
they
have-
work under a contractor arrangement, then they have to have a certain level of insurance. But then SCE as a whole has like a umbrella policy that protects everyone.
So some of your DJs are like W-2'd then.
So you got sub and
based on-
W2?
Okay.
Oh, that's
Yep.
interesting.
I figured everyone was a subcontractor. Okay, that makes more sense.
No, yeah. So it depends, but they're all protected. If they're on an SCE event, it doesn't matter if they're a contractor or an employee. They're protected by SCE insurance, especially when you get into like the production level of events, right? Like you
Right.
have to,
Cold
like
Sparks,
in New
all
Jersey,
that.
it's like a
CO2.
1-2 policy or whatever. Like for us, like we carry like I think my policy now is a 3-5 policy, so a 3 million, 5 million pipe, overall protection policy. So like we do that for some of the higher end casino properties where we do production services,
Yeah.
CO2, advanced lighting, rigging stuff. Like there's just certain things you have to have, like certain levels of production, line item specific insurance, coverage.
Yeah, and I guess you probably have some dudes who own 100% of their own stuff, maybe versus someone who doesn't. That plays into your arrangements, maybe.
Yeah, it all depends, right? Like at SCE, I try to inspire people to invest a ton of money into like the best stuff that they can manage and maintain. At a minimum, they need to be able to have like a piece of DJ furniture, like an adequate sound system for the larger rooms that we work within. And I try to have uplights and maybe 4 towers, right? Like that's a small system for us. And then there is advanced stuff like the Sparks and lighting solutions and photo booths and dancing on the clouds that like I
sax
don't expect
players and
someone,
just whatever the
right,
hell.
all the musicians.
Honestly,
that's all managed by the business, right? So like
Yeah.
that's stuff that like I would own as an SCE asset, and we would deploy for event specific needs,
That
like
was one
pin
thing.
spotting or leak ellipsoidal lighting and all these different
Right.
things. Like there's just like levels to it. You know what I mean?
So before we stop talking about SCE, dude asked, are you going to branch out to other markets? So what's the future? What's the 10-year goal for SCE?
It's funny that I feel like I've been doing a lot of soul searching, right? And I'm at the end of like my run.
I think
of,
COVID
like,
did that to everyone, by the way.
Right.
Fair, you know.
Everyone. Yeah.
If you think about it, like we at SCE at one point, I think when we redid my site, Eric, like that was the beginning of SCE, and we postponed like well over 14, 15, 1600 weddings alone, right? I mean, like we do a massive amount of work, and that was like when I stopped counting, right? Because like we've had people
Because it
this
just hurt
year
your
move and
soul
stuff
too
like that.
much.
I mean, millions of dollars
just gotta
in
move-
contracts,
just gotta
right?
move forward.
And I look at it and I'm at this coming weekend is like my last weekend where I have like 3 very large events that I'm doing myself, right? And then I go back into like a more manageable calendar, 1 or 2 events a weekend, maybe a club pop up here and there, like not like the way
One or
it's been.
two.
Like I mean, like
New Jersey's a
there
different
are
battle,
it's
I'm
a
telling
it's a
you.
different
It's
world.
New
it's
I mean,
Jersey's
like,
it's so
crazy,
great.
dude.
When I saw the video, what you did 12 weddings in 6 days or something like that, I was like,
It-
what?
I don't
Or
know.
what
yeah,
was
it's
it?
11 weddings in 13 days, and it
Yeah,
was like
yeah, something.
everyone was like,
Still, 12 and 6 would be much crazier.
Yeah,
though,
I mean,
will say.
just that's the level of craziness. I was like, holy.
But
shit.
no, so yeah,
so I'm at this point where I'm like, yo, what do I really want to do? And like I'm really focused on the phrase I only want to do my best work. So like, you know, for a long time I was a big volume guy, right? In 2018 I did like 230 events, like myself, not even the company. Like that's what I did. And I was doing clubs and conferences and this and that, and I can get somewhere before this. And I after I played that wedding, I want to do a 12:30 pop in at this club in this city. Like like that was my life for a long time. And now I'm really thinking about like where I want to be. So I think there's a couple different answers to this question,
That's
and
fine.
a lot of it will depend on like who and how I'm being like asked. So like for myself, I have a very specific set of goals that I'm looking to kind of like conquer. From a business perspective, like we are looking to expand quite a bit, because if I can find qualified talent in my area that was really looking to work hard and be consistent, I could give them like a full path in our world, because we turn away more opportunities than we can actually do. And that's crazy because there's so many of us, right?
Yeah.
So like I'm looking at things saying like, where do I want to be? I never want to be just like an owner of a business and like sending people out. Like I still want to do work, but I want to do like the work that's going to be creative, that's going to challenge me, that's going to be impressive to look at, that's going to allow me to learn and be challenged. Like I don't want to just do the same thing over and over and over again a million times. Like I want to just continue to be creative and push the bar with new technology and just shifting the landscape. I feel like I've spent 15 years of my life trying to inspire couples to think bigger, to dream bigger. I've tried to show guests that were attending an event that I was part of that like we're different than anything you've ever seen before. And I'm not saying this is like a like lip service. Like this is literally how I live my life, you know? And like, what do we do to like, before I got on with you, I was in my office and Jeff was there and he's like going through his camera. Like this is like, when I say like an obsession at like the 10th, like everyone's working at how do they become better? How do they do more? Like, how do I, instead of shooting content just horizontal, how do I make you know, an experience where I can shoot all vertical content from now on and like use it not just for TikTok, but how can I integrate this to my event? Right. Like everyone's looking to like shift and to evolve. And I think that's what makes like what I do and what we do at SCE very exciting. So, you know, in terms of like future, I just want to continue to push the creative bar. I think that's the easiest answer I can give. And just like, what does that look like? Is that 60 events a year or 150? I don't know
wherever the
yet.
road
Like,
goes.
it's just like, I'm down to like do the work, but I'm also like down to like spend some time working on like the education stuff, the YouTube stuff. I spend time on like my pleasure projects, my radio show, like doing edits again. And like I'm ready to kind of like just breathe a little bit and not do what I've been doing for the past 2 years. I feel like, you know.
Yeah. 230 events in a year. Jesus Christ. I don't know. Yeah. My busiest year as a DJ, I think I did 70, maybe 70 events in a year, and I was dead. I can't even imagine 230.
I'm still trying to figure out how you pulled off the logistics of 11 events in 13 days. With the level of production you guys do.
Yeah,
Would
and
you
that
have like
was just
three,
me. I
four
mean,
staff
like,
people in
that's
that? Like each
ridiculous.
one? Like that's
yeah, I
insane.
usually have two people with me at every one of my parties. I never do an event with just one other person. It's just like if you're going to spend the money and have me there, like I
Yeah.
usually have two people with me to help make it a little bit easier. And when you're running that hard, you have to look at everything that you can do to make your life a little bit better, even if you maybe don't become as profitable. Like you want to make sure that like you're going to be able to get to the end of that little run. You know, in the month of August last year, I did 27 events in 31 days, right? Like that's insane, right? Like
In the month
and
of
the,
August, especially.
In August.
Yeah.
you know, and like in Jersey, it's really fucking hot. It's like everything is like, you know, it's like full throttle. And, you know, to like a couple's perspective, like they don't really care. They're hiring you for excellence. They don't care
Yeah.
what you have going on the next day or the day before. They want for their day for it to be perfect. So,
Yeah.
you know, like it's pushed me into like the red, you know, and I've tried to really like I've tried to like really learn how to carefully navigate my boundaries, right? And you know, the boundaries that I've worked within over the past 2 years were not really constructed by me. It was a result of the pandemic and
Yeah.
postponements. There was a lot of guys at SCE that were working way before I was because I was a higher price point than a lot of people, and the people that hired me for their events were like, yeah, I'm like, you know, a couple $100,000 into this event, and I'm gonna wait until I can have the event underneath the circumstances and the rules that make the most sense for what I want to do. I'm not going to do an event with 50 people or 100 people. Like, I'm not going
Yeah.
to have mass at my party. If you tell me I can't dance, like, I'm just going to postpone. Right. And I
Right.
have
Yep.
postponements still on my calendar till next year. So, like, it's not like we're done with it yet. I just know, like, for me, like the madness of the past 2 years, like after this coming weekend starts to slow down. And I'm so excited because I feel like everything is going to be just better. You know, like I grew the YouTube channel out of necessity for myself. It was like a pleasure project because I needed something to kind of like take my mind off of the world I was living in, like day
Yep.
to day, you know, and like escaping to do a video for an hour and editing it myself and throwing it up on the channel was like my way of like working through it. It's kind of like going to therapy without, you know,
Yep.
going and talking to somebody, you know?
Yeah.
You got to, at the level of how busy we're all at, you have to have some sort of side project to take your mind, whatever that is. It might just be watching Netflix or something to take your mind off of it.
Well, shit.
Workaholics just work though.
Yeah. It's sometimes I'll get a message and asking, oh, what do you think made you take off so quick, kind of thing, and I'm like, obsession. That's literally my answer. You know what I mean? It's just if you're obsessed, it'll happen.
If
Yeah.
I
I just think about it 24/7. What can I do? What can I do? What can I do?
can't
And
stand
here
to
I
be
am.
sitting doing nothing.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm no SCE, but like
Yeah.
obsession, definitely. That's the move. But in 2 weeks here, DJC, a man
yeah.
of talk about a man of a
we're-
million hats. You excited?
I'm excited for this year. You know, like every year we've tried to like change things a bit, and every year we've tried to change things a bit. Let me see. I think my headphones just died here. These are a gift from Krieger. Shout out to Krieger.
Shout out to Krieger.
You have me? Oh, there you
Yeah,
go.
I can hear you.
All right, cool. So DJC is another like project that I'm really excited about this year. You know, we've changed the game again. Just when people thought we were going to get a little bit comfortable, you know, like we a little bob, a little weave, a little punch in the gut, like a little moving around. You know, taking the party to Nashville. We have, you know, like Joe, Brian, and I, who are my partners on the project, all have different things that we're responsible for. My responsibility kind of like overlaps a couple things, but my main focus for our work project is to do the experience stuff from an entertainment perspective. So I'm really excited about the parties we have lined up because we're doing some different things, different people that I think a lot of mobile guys have never seen before. And I think that to me is like, yeah, I'm like these are people that are inspirational to me. So like I hope you all enjoy what we're gonna bring for these parties. And
I'm excited to see it.
I'm excited to be there first time.
Yeah, this is my second. So like I've been to 3. Like this will be my 3rd technically, but one of them was the California one that 25 people went to. You know what I mean? So that one
was a retreat.
Yeah, like that doesn't almost even count. But I went last year in Arizona. I'm going this year. I wasn't going to.
I'm excited for Nashville.
Yeah, well, fresh baby in the mix. I didn't want to leave fiance hanging with the baby, and then all of a sudden he like grew up, and so she was like, "Oh yeah, go ahead, he's fine," you know. And I was like,
all of a sudden he's automating his own DJ.
Exactly.
He's got his own thing. I'm like, wait.
Yeah, he can hold his bottle now, so we're fucking good. So I bought one of the people who couldn't go's tickets, and so I'm rolling now as of like 2 weeks ago, and I'm stoked because. Obviously, last year was awesome. Anytime someone asks me, I'm like, honestly, it's not like the other conventions. I can't really define that. I can't put my thumb on why necessarily, but like, it's not like fucking Mobile Beat. It's just not even similar in any capacity. You know, like it's like excited. The true players almost, and that's like my best douchiest way to say it. Almost, I was like, everyone there is about the business.
They're about the grind and the hustle.
Yeah,
like
you know what I mean. They're the people truly willing to invest in themselves.
They're not there for the gear. They're
their
there
company. Yeah,
go like, hard.
Yeah, and that's the best way I could put it into words. And just that alone equals a good environment. And then on top of that, the 3 fucking dogs of the industry are throwing it. So you know it's just got some shit going on. You know what I mean? So.
We've tried to put up, there's a lot of thought behind every single thing from the minute people arrive, actually before they even get there, to like literally the experience when they arrive. And, you know, I always describe DJC as an experience, not a convention or not an expo, because like I've been involved with the larger shows for a long period of time and I've learned a lot. And, you know, this is not to compete with those. This is really an experience that's meant to help people grow in different ways, to maybe find their path, to maybe build relationships where they can actually walk away and have an opportunity of working with someone. Or, you know, it's crazy like how many times I see stories or like posts come out after we end and before the next time of people like legit working together across the country.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
I'm bringing this dog in and we're like playing and like all because of this. And like it's just like it's so crazy. And like, you know, we tried to think through what was missing in our industry, and we've really spent a lot of energy trying to cultivate something that was unique and had its own place, but it didn't fit the bill for everyone. Like if you're just looking to go to like a showroom floor and see the latest and greatest gear, like you're not going to find benefit in what we have because we don't even have a show floor. Like there's no show floor, like there's no equipment. It's not about that. It's about more of like meeting people that might be on the same path as you in a different market, or maybe trying to get to where you are, or maybe that have done what you've done times 10, and putting all these creative minds in a single room. And then like, how do we take from outside of our industry and how do we influence, you know, our industry in a positive way? Like a lot of DJ conventions solely rely on talent from within the industry to speak and inspire and to talk and to present. For us, it's like, yeah, like we might have some people from within the industry speaking, but
definitely not.
Right?
I remember the exciting ones were people that not in the industry in any way. I was late to one of these seminars, right? I was grabbing a coffee or whatever the fuck I was doing, and I was going to walk into the door of the seminar, and there was a dude in a beanie. I thought he was a janitor, honestly. I literally thought he was like someone just working, cleaning up or something. And I walked right past him, and I walked in, and everyone is silent in the auditorium, whatever it is, room. And they turn around, and it was just me, you know. And they were like, "Ah," and I was like, "Oh my god!" And I like walked backwards, close the door, and then homeboy walks right past me, and everyone lost it, and it was that Jesse
Itzler.
Yes.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, fuck. Literally, the dude is like the fucking man. And I thought he was a janitor. Like, what the hell? It was crazy.
You know what's crazy is like, and this is not a knock in any way to anyone or anything, but like someone like Jesse is someone you listen to because he's not just been insanely successful in his life. I mean, he created a jet company that he sold to Warren Buffett for billions with a B. Like,
yeah, I mean,
he's
literally,
co-owner of
the man
Hawks.
in every sense of the word. That's
His
yes.
wife is super successful. The dude runs like he's just, like a lot of people, they learn from people from within the industry that never really did anything. Like they never, and I don't mean it like, and I don't want it to come off the wrong way, but like, like it's always the same people talking about the same shit, but like they never did anything. Like,
Yep.
what did they do? You know what I mean? Like, show me, like, you don't have to have a crazy stuffed bank account to be successful, but like, if you're a DJ, do you have like the events that are like the profile events? Have you worked on television? Like, what have you done? And like, unfortunately, there's not a lot of that in our world. And I feel like the DJ industry as a whole has always been looked down on by so many people. Like, it's never been taken seriously.
Yeah.
And
well, I mean,
like,
it's a lot of dick measuring. I mean, you can't deny.
Well, it's a
lot of dick measuring.
It depends on the market, but there's a lot of people working against each other instead of working together to grow
it's
better.
Just crazy. It's like people should be helping each other and build up and like push people forward as opposed to knocking them down. And I don't want to come off this way. Like I don't mean to be like negative towards our industry because I'm grateful for anyone sharing their experiences with like the hope of making people better, right?
Yeah,
but like,
I mean,
Yeah, absolutely.
In most conferences and most situations, you never would have a Jesse Itzler speaking.
Correct.
Because like they wouldn't even
100%.
entertain it because the conference would never pay the money to have them there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Or, like,
absolutely.
Absolutely.
it's just different. It's like the motivation has been like by so many is like financial and it's like short minded. And I'm not throwing a knock to anyone that does conferences or anyone in our business, but like, if you want to get something out of life, like you don't always have to go from within the industry to be inspired. Like you need to look outside the industry and like take cues from people that have done it that are really, really, really successful and like apply it and adapt it to your world. And like, that's how you grow. That's how you learn. That's how you experience things in a different way. And so many people don't do that. Like they only stay within this like little box of like people. And it's almost like you're doing yourself a disservice in some ways. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You with like Jesse and maybe a couple other speakers, what's Brian doing? Because if I were to take a guess, I would imagine Brian found Jesse and suggested Jesse. For some reason, that just seems up his alley specifically.
Yeah. So Brian does primarily the education piece of our experience. Like we all have between Joe, Brian, and I, we all have different relationships with different people. So we try to leverage your
strengths.
relationships and things that we have access to, people that we have access to, and we try to, we've tried to cultivate, people wanting to be involved to help us do what we're trying to do, and that's just like push the educational bar in a very interesting industry. That's really what it's all about, right? So Jesse specifically is connected to Brian through one of the programs that he's involved with. And getting him, it just happened to be timing. It happened to be like, just we were in the right place at the right time, and we were able to work within, like we were landing the same time he was going to be remotely in the area. And like Brian is the one that 100% gets the nod, the pat on the back, and really like made that happen. Brian's role in our 3-pack is, man, I have so much respect for Brian Bonacisi, and not just as like a personal friend, but like the dude he is an insanely hard worker, and he really, really cares. And if you don't know him, you're not following him, you've not like been exposed to any of his projects, like he's someone that I think a lot of people in our industry could learn from, because he's a wealth of knowledge, and he's really spent a lot of time creating something in a place that never had something.
Yeah.
Like his path is like the destination travel, DJ world. I mean, like this dude is like when I say killing it, I mean like he's killing it. And
Yeah.
you might not know it if you don't follow him, but like he's got great stories. He's very inspirational. He's very supportive, and
He's just a
like
smart fucking dude,
he's
like,
a very, very smart dude.
yeah.
He's a very smart
He's
guy.
honestly, so, I've been to every convention under the sun at this point. Very few people up on that stage. I'm like, wow, that was really good. I mean, sure, it was inspiring or whatever, but it's not like anything I haven't heard usually. Anytime Brian opens his fucking mouth, I'm like, damn, that really makes me rethink some shit. You know what I mean? Like, he is.
He's got a very unique take on this world. I mean, like he's worked really hard at building relationships that are like rock solid. And he's a great DJ and he understands and he's got different processes for preparation than like I do. And like, like we'll shoot the shit back and forth sometimes and I'm like, "Damn, dude, I didn't even think of that." You know what I mean? Like and I feel like I've done it all and I'm like, "Shit, like he still is like continuing to level up." And that's just a something that he's really good at. And Joe, Joe brings a whole different side to our equation. And like the three of us are uniquely different and we think differently, but like together we work very
Very
strong
Captain
together
Planet
because like
type.
it's just
Yes.
like very like boom boom boom, like like all right, this is Joe's bag, go Joe, like all right,
Right.
go Joe, and then it's like all right, this is Jana, like go Jana, go, and like oh, this is Brian, like Brian's got it. And like Brian will come back and be like, oh yeah, I spent like night and I created like the whole program and like we approved artwork and we got the whole thing done. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, wait, what did you do?
Right.
Just
Like,
go
dude, you gotta
getters.
like just crazy. You know what I mean?
Well,
So
I'm
shout out to
stoked.
anyone that's coming. I see a couple comments coming
Yeah,
through of people like going this year. So thank you all. I I hope that you are ready for an incredible couple days in Nashville. We're gonna crush everything. I can't wait. I can't wait.
I'm excited to be there first time.
First timer. We were buying our
Oh, yeah.
plane tickets the other day.
I couldn't agree more of just like what we're talking about in terms of learning from outside the industry. In terms of like my background in doing engineering and then also like the new ventures in Christmas lights, I've learned so much about like simple things that we see at events that now I know how to do it and how simple it is, or just different ways of marketing strategies, or in general, like business coaching that I started back in May is like opened my mind to like the other people in the industry and how they think about how business works and like different ways to apply it. And I probably learned the most about just growing a business and different ways to do things in the last probably 8 months by exploring different industries. Because when you're in one industry for so long, I mean, you get to a point where you pretty much know everything that everyone else practically knows in the industry, and you got to get creative and go outside the realm or really connect with people that are really pushing boundaries to understand that.
Yeah, I will, like, without trying to toot your horn, but I would say your Christmas light business shows that not necessarily DJ business mind, but just business mind,
I'm very strong business mind.
Yeah.
That's all
Yeah.
I like.
So strong. But for real,
I love it. It's great. I mean, I saw it literally. I think I saw it today. I was like, oh, I'm like Rick shared our thing. I'm like, oh, cool. Let me reshare this. And then like the next story is like, packages are here, and it's like a whole garage full of Christmas lights. I'm like, bro, this dude's killing it. That's awesome. Like, so like for me, I'm someone that's like, I want to be your biggest cheerleader. I want to see you like. I want to see you do your whole city. Like that's how I am, and I've always been that way. So I think I was like hearting those stories as I saw it on my Instagram. I'm like, yo, that's awesome, awesome, awesome.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like that's just how I roll. And like I wish that there was more people within our world that were like supportive of people that like took chances and like
Oh, yeah.
like took a risk and built something and like pushed people up. And that's it's just something that we as an industry have to eventually address. And I know I've tried to do my part to help people and spread positivity and not and not be negative on certain things. And I hope that people one day will all join that kind of train, supporting people doing big things in whatever it is that they're out to accomplish. Because this industry will teach you so much about so many different things. To be a DJ, you have to be good at marketing. You have to be good at
Everything.
sales. You have to be good at client management.
Connections.
You have to be right. It's just relationship management. It's like, like, and you could easily apply these principles to so many things in this world that will make you successful. And like this Christmas light project, like next year, like I want to see you with 10 employees running these lights, like literally running 3 markets. Let's go. Put the challenge out. Let's go, Rick Webb.
It's in the works. Trust me.
This dude's got his board laid out with like the goals on it and the immediate tasks and I'm always like, God, I would hate to be you. I'm gonna go feed this baby and chill. Honestly, I think I took a mental break the past year.
There's a lot of people in the background on that Christmas light business. That is not even close to being 100% me. There's a lot of people pushing that.
Well, it has to be.
It has to be for the scale we're going for.
Team is everything. Team is everything.
Mm-hmm. Team is everything.
Hustle grind.
100%. I'll do a quick scroll through the chat to see if anyone asked anything. We got like 5 minutes.
We've had a pretty solid chat. You're averaging around 30 to, I think I saw 38 at the highest today.
Okay.
Solid show out
You have any problems?
on the live chat. If you guys are
I'll
listening
answer
to this,
that Andrew's question, Eric. I'll take that on. You could do that.
What's it got?
All right. So Andrew said, do you have any problems with distribution of money with your higher end DJs versus your lower end DJs?
That's a great question.
None. The answer's no. That's simple.
All right. Bam.
It's that simple. It's
Bam,
like,
done.
No.
honestly, the rules are the same. It doesn't matter if you make $15,000 an event or you make $750 an event. The percentages don't change, and it's done with intention. In order to get you to the bigger jobs, there's more work involved. Like, it's quite simple. And like I talked about that in my video today that I released. Like, it's one thing that I see so many DJs like not doing is taking a percentage of every job they do and putting it into some kind of bank account to like grow their business. Like everyone just seems to, okay, let me get this check. I got this check. Okay, cool. I'm going to cash that check over in my account.
Let me go buy some Evolves.
You're never going to grow if you don't, buy your white Evolves or your white Evox or whatever everyone's throwing online today. Like when you have the percentage taken from 20 events and you're not using your money. Like another thing is like that pocket of money is like when someone asks you to do that like job for free for exposure, like this is how it becomes real as to what you and how you invest your time. Like if you charge $1,000 for that event, like it comes out of that pocket to pay you for your time to do that event. And then your decision-making process becomes a lot easier and a lot more clear. Is it really worth doing the event for free when you're taking $1,000 out of money that you can allocate towards your business in a different way? And like you have to manage it tightly. Like you have to operate. If you want to be a business and you want to be successful, whether you're a introduction tier or you're like, making the most that's out there, you have to set yourself up for success and you have to treat your business like a business. And like, you can't ever lose sight of that. That's like, it's so big. So like, there's no qualms because everyone signs up to the same rules, whether they're day one or they've been involved for the business for 10 years. Like the business, the rules are set and the framework is there no matter who you are and how long, myself included. The same percentage goes back to the company as myself, the owner of the business who makes whatever I make, as someone that just came on and is year one in my company.
Yep.
And it's done with intention because the sky's the limit in terms of what you can do.
I will
do work.
I will say there. Like, cause his question, do you have problems with money agreements? So I think anytime someone's going to have a problem with a money agreement is if there was no agreement to begin with. You know what I mean? Like, that's what, exactly. Like 100%. That is even for me, who yet again, totally, it may as well be a different business, right? I am 100% transparent before we even ever shook hands on you're booked. It's like, this is what you get paid. Here's the pay structure. You're not like, what? Why did I make this? That is not real. You know exactly what you're going to make the second you sign on.
Here's real talk. Every year, January 1st, and you could ask anyone that's ever worked for SCE, every year, January 1st, maybe January 2nd, if I had like a crazy New Year's Eve wedding, which most of the time I do, right? Everyone gets an email and it's like, here are the rules of engagement for this year. And like when you sign on to the business, when you sign a contract with me saying that you are going to exclusively represent the SCE flag at private events moving forward, we lay the foundation. And like the percentages have never changed. The way we take money has never changed. And I operate my company in a way that everything is on the table because I want you to see how successful we all are. And I want you to see where the money goes because, like, that will eliminate the question of frustration that a lot of DJs encounter in this business. People get sour and salty when they think that the owner's taking all that money and putting it in their pocket and driving an Escalade. And like that could be the case in some instances. But like for me, I never want to operate that way. I want to make sure like, hey, I make money doing my parties. If I don't work, I'm not making the money. I mean, yeah, I could take from the company bucket and do it this way or whatever. But like, the percentages are the same for me as it is for you. And like, in order for us to do what we need to do, right, we have to advertise in so many places. We need to have an office space that costs this much a month. We have to have salaries for the people that support the business. And all of that has to get paid from somewhere. And if you're making this much or that much, like the money's on the table and it's clear from day one. And if you don't understand it, don't do a job working for this business because it's in contract. We put it in contract before anyone ever signs up and actually gets a job with us at SCE. And I think that practice of keeping it on the table and being like brutally honest and incredibly candid and transparent has eliminated a lot of issues. And don't get me wrong, like I've had issues in my business where people, you know, come and have gone or promised me they had all this demand and all these people wanted to work them and then I got nothing. I got people that have come on board and like the way the SCE engine works is it'll chew you up and spit you out if you're full of shit. And like it's done with intention. And like we've rolled over on some talented DJs because they couldn't hang when they were put like real like
in the
feet
fire,
to the fire.
right.
And
Yep.
like you have to work. In order to thrive, which you very easily can do, you have to do the work. And if you're going to cut corners, the process is going to eat you up because like that's the way the machine has been designed to work. You know what I mean? And I think like to answer the question, the answer is like no, it doesn't really happen. If that's like the culture that we're building, then it's probably not a healthy environment for anyone, myself included. You know, like I don't want people involved with a company that are thinking like they're gonna have disagreements on like percentages of what they're gonna get paid. Like the money is like the easy part of this business. I feel like getting people booked and creating opportunity, that's where like people struggle, right? Like the money is like, hey, if there's money coming in, everyone's good. Like we're making money today or yesterday. I cut my payroll for the last 2 weeks and it was like 6-figure payroll, like crazy. And like, you know, I was like, man, this hurts to go out. And then I'm like, no, it doesn't. Like if we made this much money, like we made more money than that. You know what I mean? Like, so
That's what I was
everybody
telling
wins,
you when you
know?
complained about your payroll.
It's just shocking.
He texted
It's
me
a new
complaining about it.
landmark.
He's like, holy crap, I just dished out. I'm like, yeah, but you just bankrolled so much coming in as the company.
It's
like
just-
the company is making great money if you're dishing out that much money.
It was just a new benchmark, and I had never seen that coming out of my own pocket.
You need a bigger
before.
bag, Eric.
It's
you need
just
a bigger bag, baby.
yeah. I mean, I honestly like I'm such a hoarder, so whatever. It was just like, damn, you know, like one weekend, how much? Like, all right.
I will say what Jason's talking about. It's been a little bit of a struggle communicating openly with my guys because I mean it's hard for the. I mean I throw out the numbers to them all the time and we talk about like all the expense we're enduring, but some of them it's a little struggle for them to understand that I can't pay you 90% of what I'm charging for you. It's impossible for me to pay you that.
People that expect people, if they can't understand that, they should work for themselves. And it is what it is, but everyone has to understand.
And honestly, I've been brutally honest with a couple of them. Like, I have 40, 50 something weddings on the books for you right now. Like, do you just not want? I mean, I could find someone else for them. I mean,
yeah,
it's.
You know, it's so crazy. Like people don't understand like the true cost of like operating a business and like what things actually cost. And like if you like I look at SCE and I always think of collaborative marketing. Like if you just think of the collaborative marketing exposure that everyone is afforded, and take the responsibilities of the office out of the equation and take this and take that and like go try to get like these dollars and cents on your own without the backing of a company. Like it would be a little bit challenging. I'm not saying it's impossible, but like you'd have to do a lot more work than you're doing just managing your own universe. Like you have to wear all hats yourself. And like, is it worth that percentage? Because it's going to cost you way more than that percentage, especially in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? So like when someone's like, oh, I want 90% of the pay, like that doesn't even make sense. Like you would never have a business. In order for there to be an opportunity, the business has to be healthy. And like most people use the benchmark of 50% or 40% in terms of like what the business needs to operationalize itself and to stay healthy. And like after COVID, this is an example of like how many people like literally disappeared into the vapor, right?
Yeah,
Like they just
business, not even
disappeared
DJ,
entirely.
just
Right.
businesses in general.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm a realtor now. Hey, like, welcome.
Yeah,
And it's like,
everyone.
yo, okay,
I'm a realtor
like,
now. Love that.
God. Yeah.
God.
Yeah. Well, let's not
And on a bad note,
yeah,
yo,
yeah.
positive,
We'll,
baby, positive.
So 10:05, Jason, thank you so much for joining us, dropping the wisdom bombs.
the positive is DJ Collectives right around the corner.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
gonna be
I'm
freaking
going.
insane.
If y'all aren't going, well, fuck y'all. I'm going.
See you
so
next
I'm gonna
year.
have a blast. But
Why don't we
Jason,
do one of these over there? We should do one of these when we're over that way.
yeah, I feel like we have one scheduled, but we don't. We're supposed to do one while we're there. I think. I could be tripping, but
What's the internet situation in Nashville?
I'm sure it's
Good.
fine. Ballin'.
Perfect.
It's a ballin' ass hotel.
I mean, I know how to get all this gear in a suitcase.
yeah. Well,
We'll have some stuff there.
what?
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay.
I mean, shit. They're throwing a DJ conference, I would imagine. But anyway, Jason, where can our viewers find you?
So I'm really active. I'm trying to stay active on the YouTube platform. So if you guys are into YouTube, just search me out, Jason Jani, Jani. And I'm most active on Instagram right now. I know it's like an archaic formula, and I'm hopeful that like Zuckerberg fixes his everything and makes it actually work. But and Jason Jani everywhere. So just Jani, search me out. I'll I am on TikTok, but I'm not a Nick on TikTok. I'm still trying to figure out like how and what to post and how to put out stuff that's of some kind of value. But I spend most of my time on Instagram and now on YouTube, and that's where I put out a lot of stuff. I try to share like legit learnings that of things that I've gone through as a DJ, as a business owner, so that people in our industry or in the small business event space can like take from maybe something I share and hopefully avoid a pothole, avoid an obstacle, or deal with something so that they don't have to deal with, negative, or they learn
Absolutely.
from something, or just to better themselves. I mean, I try to share a lot of content, and this coming winter, I'm going to have a ton of new, like really good stuff coming up on the channel with other people and different things that I've been working on kind of in my spare time, coming up to the platform.
Yeah,
So,
I would 100% agree. If you are looking for educational content, Jason is knocking it out of the park. He's not doing any like fluffy gig logs or anything. Well, he's got a few in there, but for the most part, it's all like rock solid education. And you're pumping out content like no tomorrow. I commend you because I've been in that grind for so long, and I commend you. That's a grind.
I tell you what, this platform is so humbling. I mean, like I've never had a problem filling a big room, like a big club. I've never had a problem filling people, like growing my Instagram, keeping my Instagram, growing, Facebook when that was a thing. And just in the past, like I've never had such a challenge. And this platform and the way it's set up right now, it's so incredibly humbling. And it's like, I have something to prove and I want to do that. And it's like I just broke 11,000 subscribers, which I know that's like a lot it's like a lot for some people, but I'm like, man, I need like another comma in there somehow. I need to like continue to stay at it. And I'm really driven to hopefully share what I've gone through and the things that I've learned and whatever to help people grow. And I really appreciate you checking out the channel and supporting it and saying kind words, because I there's a lot of work in the channel, like, and I've really spent a lot of time trying to, switch up how I'm delivering stuff and what I'm saying, and not be like a dick about it, and like really try to like put content out there that can help people, that's not just good today, but like it'll be good in 3 months from now or a year from now, that like
evergreen,
lean on that,
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, Jason, it was great having you on here. We'll all be hanging out at the DJ Collective, so make sure you guys check that out. Follow Jason. But anyways, like, comment, subscribe. Help us get to 1,000 subscribers on the DJ Life Podcast YouTube channel. And for all you guys listening on all of those sources, be sure to follow us on there as well. But anyways, we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.